Hi, welcome to Movie Review with Danny. And today, I'll be doing a review on Teen Wolf 10 Red Herrings I Wish the Series Pursued. A series like Teen Wolf wasn't just about the love interest or the fight scenes, it was also about the mystery. The main characters always found themselves stuck in the middle of a supernatural question, trying to find their way to a solution to their problems. Like any good mystery, not every lead they follow was going to pan out. Teen Wolf liked to surprise fans with plenty of red herrings to follow, misleading fans down one path. Something else would pop up to redirect them later. Some of those red herrings, however, would have made for some interesting story on the show, whether it was the potential for a new relationship, the emergency of a character they believed lost, or a whole new direction of a storyline. There were some great opportunities the show missed by abandoning them. So, the red herrings I wish the show pursued are: 10. Lydia's grandmother is alive. During the Deadpool arc of the series, Lydia tried to find out more about her Banshee familial connection. Her grandmother, specifically her father's mother, was a baby, though she didn't seem to understand it until later in life as Lydia began using her grandmother's lake house more often, trying to find a way to connect to her Banshee side and unlock information about the Deadpool. There were a lot of hints dropped that she might still be able to connect with her grandmother in the flesh, like her grandmother's nickname for her unlocking another portion of the Deadpool list. Unfortunately, that never actually happened, and Lydia only had memories of moments with her grandmother from the past. 9. Styles become an emissary. The beginning of Teen Wolf didn't reveal what Dr. Dayton to a pack of werewolves, though it was clear he had information about the supernatural world. Eventually, the same show gave more backstory for him, clarifying that at one time he was the emissary of the Hale family's pack, but only a few people knew his identity. Emissaries were those who trained in the Druid way of healing and protection and acted as a neutral party between packs, though they definitely had their loyalties. Hints were dropped early in the series that Dayton was shaping Styles to be an emissary for Scott's pack. Styles was reminded often that he was the only one who could handle mountain ash and was relied on to help complete rituals, but he didn't continued helping Scott, and Styles left because he to train with the FBI. 8. Allison was possessed. Styles becoming the target of the negotiation was one of the most memorable storylines on Teen Wolf. As they watched, however, some fans thought it could be someone else. Well, there were plenty of hints that something was wrong with Styles. Another character was spending a lot of time in waking dreams and hallucination. That was Allison. Scott, Allison, and Styles were all affected by their times spent as sacrifice for their parents, but Allison and Styles seems to suffer more nightmarish aspects than Scott. There are still fans who wondered how the storyline would have been different if it was Allison instead. 7. Parrish and Lydia's chemistry. Lydia and Jackson were the most popular couple at Beacons Hill High. At least they were until all the supernatural events started happening around town. After her relationship with Jackson, Lydia didn't allow herself to get serious with anyone else. There was, however, a connection between her and Deputy Parrish. That connection was eventually played as both characters being supernatural beings who had a connection to death, but fans thought their chemistry would play out in another way. Plenty wondered why they were shown to be so in one another if they were never going to attempt a relationship. 6. There was something supernatural in Claudia Stellinsky's death. Claudia Stellinsky passed away long before the event of the series happened. A degenerative brain disease robbed her family of her. One story Noah Stellinsky told about the night of her death, however, made fans think there might have been more to it. When Claudia was in the hospital, Noah was responding a car accident. The woman in the car whom he couldn't save talked about Claudia while she was dying. Fans thought it was more than just a coincidence, but nothing ever came up of it. 5. The co-parenting of Scott and Styles. Scott McCall and Styles Stellinsky were the best of friends, practically brothers, with Melissa McCall's marriage over the years earlier and Noah Stellinsky losing his wife around the same time. The two initially appeared to be a parenting team. They both had a no-nonsense approach to their kids and had no problem reprimanding each other's kid either. Fans thought that the co-parenting might turn into something more by the end of the series. Instead, Melissa had a disastrous date with Peter Hale, and Noah had a terrible equally date with Matthew Martin. Melissa ended up dating Chris Argent instead, and Noah was still left alone at the end of the series run. 4. Miss Morrell wasn't one of the good guys. Miss Morrell started her time on the show as a Beacons Hill High Guardians counselor. Eventually, she started working for Hiking House as well, but she was never free from the supernatural conflicts, though all she claimed to want was to maintain the balance. Scott and his friends suspected she was up to something, but it turned out she was an emissary, like her brother. The trouble was for someone who wanted to maintain balance, acting as an emissary to an alpha pack of werewolves hunting down other alphas didn't really achieve that. She was secretive and snaky, so I wondered if she was hiding her true intention. If she was, it was never revealed. 3. Styles was interested in Cora. For a guy who spent all of his formative years hung up on Lydia Martins, Styles sure had his fair share of his love interest in the show. He reconnected with a girl he knew from camp, had a bit of crush on Erika, dated Malia when she joined the series, and even demonstrated a connection to Cora Hale. Styles hinted at his crush on Cora when he had to perform mouth-to-mouth for reviving her. That's about the most interaction the two had. However, since actress Adelaide King became the lead in the CW series reign, it could have been interesting to see if Styles ever pursued anything with Cora. 2. Theo wasn't Theo. When Theo came to town, Styles disliked him on sight. Initially, he believed Theo wasn't who he said he was. Styles attempted to prove that Theo wasn't the same kid who left because nearly a decade earlier, but couldn't. The idea of someone impersonating Theo might have been even more interesting than a kid who helped the Dread Doctors kill his sister and steal her heart. We also have to wonder what happened to the people Theo made impersonate his parents. Finally, Lydia is the Candyman. Of all the red herrings in the series, this might be the one that lasted the longest. When Jackson received the bites from Derek at the end of season 1, he didn't turn into a werewolf, but neither did Lydia after her bites from Peter. Season 2 was about puzzling out which of them was the Candyman. Derek and his new pack were sure that Lydia was the Candyman, though Scott and his friend didn't want to believe it. While fans loved Lydia as a banshee, the show could have been different if it turned out she was the Candyman and Jackson was a different supernatural creature altogether. Thanks for watching today's review. Please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button and leave your comments in the comment box below.